In the basement of the Hollow Creek County building, on a shelf marked Non-Circulating, there are 3 recordings sealed in wax paper and red tape. The label on each one says the same thing. Do not play. Do not transcribe. Do not log. I know the handwriting. It's mine. My name is Harold Voss. For 31 years I was the records clerk for Hollow Creek County, which is a job you take when you like paper more than people, and I did, and I'm not ashamed of it. Deeds, ledgers, school photos, water samples. If it happened in this town, it crossed my desk, and I filed it where it belonged. My wife used to say I'd file the weather if they let me. She died in the spring of '02. After that I started staying late, because the annex was quiet, but it wasn't empty, if you understand the difference. A building full of voices on paper. Some nights I'd play the old tape reels while I worked. Council meetings. School concerts. It was company. That's the part you need to understand about me, because it's the reason everything else happened. I like the voices. In October of 2003, the county finally cleared out the WKHC building, the radio station. It had been sitting dead on the Reservoir Road since 1986, 17 years of pigeons and rot, and when the demolition order went through, everything inside came to me. For boxes, mostly water-damaged nothing, transmitter manuals, a coffee mug, and the reels. 51 reels of broadcast tape, and I cataloged every one of them, and 48 of them are exactly what they say they are. A farm report, a church hour, a high school football game from 1984 that Hollow Creek lost, which sounds about right. This is a story about the other 3. Entry 1. The broadcast log. Not a tape, at first. A binder. WKHC kept a transmitter log, power readings signed every night by the engineer on duty, and the last page is dated June 9, 1986. The day the station died. Final sign-off, 11:04 p.m. Transmitter cold. A man named Dale Sumner signed it, and his signature is steady as a ruler. Except the log doesn't stop there. There are 6 more weeks of entries. Same binder, same column, no signatures. Power draw at the transmitter, logged nightly, always at the same time. 3:11 a.m. A dead station, unplugged, pulling power in the dark. I showed it to a county engineer in '04, and he said meter fault, happens all the time, and I wrote meter fault on the folder because I wanted that to be true. You'd have done the same. That's how this town works. We have a drawer for everything, and the drawer is labeled explainable. Entry 2. The call-in tape. Reel 49 is the last hour of live broadcast WKHC ever did. June 9th, 1986. Dale Sumner, the night host, taking calls about nothing. Road work. A lost dog. And then at the end, one caller who doesn't say hello. The voice just says, "Dale, come down to the water. We've been practicing you." And here is the thing I have never said out loud, not to anyone. The caller's voice is Dale Sumner's voice. Both sides of that phone call are the same man. One of them is confused and getting angry, and the other one is patient. Patient the way water is patient. Dale signed the transmitter log steady as a ruler that night, locked the building, and 9 days later they pulled his truck out of the reservoir shallows with the driver's door open. The county road accident. We have a drawer for that too. I had a clerk under me back then. Ruthie called her. Sweet, stubborn, wore headphones so I wouldn't know she listened to music on shift. In March of 2004 she found reel 49 before I'd sealed anything, and she transcribed it, because transcription was her job and I hadn't told her not to. She came to my desk, white as the paper. She said, "Mr. Voss," at the end of the tape, after the caller hangs up. She said, "It says my name." I played that reel start to finish that same night. It ends with dead air and the click of the board shutting down. There's no name on it. There never was, until she listened alone. Ruthie gave notice in April. She told people she was moving to her sister's in Ohio. 3 weeks later, a fisherman found her car parked at the reservoir turnout, doors locked, seats empty, and her headphones sitting on the dock the way you'd set down something you meant to come back for. She was 26. I signed her personnel file into storage myself, and I am telling you her name because somebody who isn't a drawer in my basement should remember it. Entry 3. 2 days after they stopped dragging the reservoir for Ruthie, I went through every WKHC box again, angry, the way you get angry at furniture. I wanted a reason. And at the bottom of box 4, under the transmitter manuals I had already cataloged twice, there was a 50-second reel. I had counted 51. Twice. The box was typed like all the others, WKHC, quarter-inch tape, and there was a date on the label. The date was 3 days away, the following Friday. And under the date, in the space-marked program, someone had typed, Voss, Herald, evening. I want to tell you I burned it. I want to tell you I drove it to the reservoir and threw it in, except nothing that goes into that water stays there. We've established that. I played it. It's my kitchen. You can hear my kettle, the bad hinge on my cabinet, a chair creaking the way mine creaks. And you can hear me humming, and I only ever hummed when Marion was alive. And then a woman's voice, close to the microphone, a voice that had been dead for 2 years, says, Harold, you left the radio on. The recording is 52 minutes long. I listened to the end. I shouldn't have listened to the end. That Friday I sat in my kitchen with every light on and the radio unplugged, and nothing happened. No kettle. No voice. Saturday, nothing. I'm an old man filing weather, I thought. And years went by, and I retired, and I sealed all 3 of those entries in wax paper and red tape with my own hands, against every regulation I ever enforced, because some things should not be transcribed by a 26-year-old wearing headphones. But you deserve the ending, so here it is. Last month I got the reel out one more time. Don't ask me why. I like the voices. I told you that at the start, and I told you it was the reason everything happened. The tape is 54 minutes now. It was 52. The new part is mostly quiet. A room at night. And at the very end, just before the tape runs out, there's a sound I know the way I know my own signature. The bad hinge. My cabinet. Opening, slow, in a kitchen where I live alone. The date on the label has changed too. It says tonight. So this is tape number 3, and I'm recording it at my kitchen table with the cabinet nailed shut, which I understand is not how hinges work. If you take one thing from a records clerk with 31 years of service, take this. If you ever find a recording with your name on it, look at the date first. And if the date hasn't happened yet, you burn it. You don't listen to the end. I listen to the end.